Good morning and welcome to our first program of 2021, Meet Your New Elected Officials, brought to you by Southern California Edison. My name is Steve Lamont and I am the chair of the South Orange County Economic Coalition, as well as the executive officer for the Building Industry Association, Southern California Orange County chapter. I am pleased to be your moderator today. For more than 5 decades, the South Orange County Economic Coalition has served as the premier voice of business throughout South Orange County. Our organization prides itself on our efforts to promote a strong economic climate and provide current updates on issues impacting our region and local business communities. Today's program seeks to achieve this goal by providing us with the opportunity to meet the new elected leaders in South Orange County who will represent our communities at the various levels of government. As you all know, the November 2020 election was historic and brought about a new slate of representatives who will serve as our voice as they implement policies over the next few years. To get to know our leaders, we here at the South Orange County Economic Coalition extended invitations to all newly elected leaders in South Orange County to virtually join us today so that we may learn more about their overall priorities and plans to support our local business community. To kick off today's program, I am honored to begin this event by welcoming Congresswoman Michelle Steele, who was recently elected to represent California's 48th Congressional District. Okay, so we have Congresswoman Michelle Steele here joining us. And Congresswoman, I think I say this to everybody, but we have a lot of questions in a short amount of time, so I am just going to jump right into it. You are well known throughout Orange County. I feel like I have known you for quite some time in all your various positions that you have served honorably in and here in Orange County. But for those of you that might not know you, share a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I am Michelle Steele, and I was born in Korea, raised in Japan. So I speak Korean as my first and Japanese my second, and English is my third. And a lot of first generations, they don't want to run for any political positions. But in 2006, I ran for state board of equalization because they harassed my mother. My father passed away, so my mom came with the 3 young girls at that time. So my mother ran the business, and she got harassed by tax agency called State Board of Equalization. So she paid the taxes they didn't owe plus interest and penalty on the top of it. So when that seat opened, I said I can help small business owners. That's the reason that I started.
Wow, that's a great story. And so kind of to that point, what are going to be your priorities now as you assume this new role in Congress?
You know what? It was really interesting because yesterday, new President Biden was talking about like 100 million doses for vaccine. Right now, that we almost this March comes, then it's almost a year that we close down all the businesses. So 100 million doses is exactly what actually we've been working on it from the federal government. Only thing is the state is very slow that distributing, and then go out there. I think we can do better. And then that vaccination, we've been talking about the vaccination comes that everything come back to normal. It's not, because we are not really doing whatever we can do. So I am, I want to be optimistic that, everybody can get vaccinations. And then right now the vaccine distribution sites like Disneyland, I hope Disneyland is going to open soon, but they're doing great jobs. So all communities are helping in Orange County. So for me, that I just want to have all the vaccination done for everybody, so everybody can open, everybody can feel safe, and kids can go back to school.
Yeah, and as here representing a business organization, we can't thank you enough. That is definitely a priority that we would like our elected officials to be focused on, which is getting us back to work, getting kids back into school, which means adults can get back into work. So with all this, I guess, news stories of dysfunction in Washington, I know session just began, but what are some of your impressions as a new member? I believe you're in the district now, but you've been there, and you will be going back very soon. So again, what have been your first impressions of being a brand new Congress member?
Oh my God. what an experience that what I went through on January 6th. We supposed to vote, and in the morning they said, "Oh, all the Congress members, you have to get vaccination done." So I got vaccination done 9 o'clock in the morning, and then my husband called. I think you better check COVID because my husband just flew in back to California. He said, "You know what? I tested positive, so you should test." So
Okay.
11 o'clock, I got COVID positive. So doctor said you have to go home. My home was at the hotel at that time, and I couldn't even get out because riots started. So
Mhm.
we were stuck inside of our, office, especially for my office. Everybody got stuck in the office, and we were actually watching TV to find out that what's going on outside. And we locked in until 9 o'clock at night. And then 9 o'clock, both started, but doctors said you cannot go to the floor. Bottom line is you have to quarantine yourself. So I came back to the hotel and I checked out. My daughter lives in Washington, D.C., but she was visiting in San Diego that time. So I went to her house and I quarantined myself for 2 weeks. And then I tried to fly back. My name was on the list, no flight list, and I couldn't come back. And it was a nightmare. And for 2 weeks, I lost so much weight. I lost sense of smell and I lost sense of taste. For last 3 weeks, an experience that I had to go through. It was a very interesting experience.
So you're starting as a new member in Congress, you get COVID, and then the riots start that we're still talking about to this day, all within your first week, it sounds like. So quite an experience, I would have to say. And so with all that happening, have you? Let's jump right into the policy stuff. Have you done, or have you considered, or have you introduced any legislation, or is there any legislation that you're going to be working on here?
You know what? The first one actually I co-sponsored, create a national commission on domestic terrorist attack upon United States Capitol, because this one that improving intelligence gathering for the future, because you know what, we have to be safe. So that one I did, and then actually I am working with other Democratic state members, because the under Trump administration, Steve, very well, and your members know very well that, because of the SALT, state and local taxes that cap it for $10,000, that's not really hurting states because they are collecting their income taxes anyway, but that really hurts constituents. So I want to repeal that. So I am actually drafting the language for that. And then third one is, of course, in California, especially Southern California, we always have a problem with water. So the newly elected, actually this is his second term, David Valadao, that he has the Renew Wind Act. It's a water bill. So we are working on that, and I'm co-sponsoring for that bill for Southern California people. So right now we are working on those.
Well, good to hear. And you kind of touched upon what I want to ask next, similar or kind of referring to your constituency, to just Americans in general, and of course the economy. But with COVID, of course, at the front of our minds, can you brief us on what Congress is doing to support the economy during this crisis? I know that there's stuff constantly coming out in the that we're all waiting to hear, whether it's stimulus checks. I mean, we're all waiting to hear what is going to happen. But I guess brief us on what you're experiencing right now in relation to getting the economy back.
Well, you know what? Economy back is the most important part, especially California. We shut down how many months now? Almost a year. And you know what? Small businesses, they cannot survive. They still have the regular payments that they have to do. And it's just really sad to see that what we have to go through in California. So I think we are working immediately as soon as we could go back, that next COVID relief package, when new President Biden signs it, then you know what, it's going to go out. But for me, that I came from the local government, when they give to the state was threatening us that if you don't listen to us, we're not going to give you money, or you have to give
Sure.
everything money back. Orange County was in very, very tough condition. I was chair last year, and you know what, we had to follow through what governor was asking us to do. Even you remember that I set up the business ad hoc committee, and we tried to open the businesses with guidelines. But you know what? Governor was not happy, so governor closed down, shut down all Orange County beaches only. So I'm asking that local support and all the funding goes straight to the counties. That's going to make much faster to reach out to the small businesses. That's what I've been working on.
Good. Well, you know, and you almost answered what I want to talk about next, but continuing with the economy, continuing with COVID, and you probably know this more than anybody, because I know a lot of the work that you've done for the taxpayer, especially at your time at BOE, and then of course even at the Board of Supervisors. But we in California were already burdened with some of the highest income tax in the nation, sales tax, gas taxes, and so with the composition of the state's leadership. Again, kind of back to having a local solution, but it seems like a local solution is going to be difficult. It's in the distance. And so is there anything at the federal level that you really connect the dots for us here locally to ease this burden and you know, get us back to work?
You know, first thing is federal gas tax that increase that they were talking about. And since actually under President Trump administration, it was not really done. Now that Biden administration came in, I don't know how it's going to work it out. But you know what, I was talking about that local, state and local taxes that we want to make sure that we're going to repeal that. And how about mortgage interest deductions? Mm-hmm. In Orange County, our housing market, so expensive. And when you cannot deduct, you know what? Deduction means that you can put more money, what you earn money, hard to earn money that you are putting in your pocket. So we really have to work on those. So, and then on the top of it, you remember AB 5. And you know, during the COVID-19, we need more than ever. These people want to work part-time. Their kids are not at school and they want to go out. You know what? You cannot be employed by these big companies. And federal government actually introduced last year, you know, regarding exactly same thing like AB 5. We really have to stop those. And we can, so most businesses, they can hire more workers and produce, you know, more for the community, because government cannot do it. Businesses can do it because they're the backbone of our economy.
Well, this is going to be, I think this will be interesting to you then. We did a survey with our members recently to determine how businesses were feeling due to the political climate. And according to our survey of our members, we had about 58% believe that the political climate was having a negative impact on their business. And you might also be interested to know that it's actually lower than what we thought. Is 13% believe the federal government has had a positive effect, or 13% has had a positive impact on their business. So do you think that this perception can be changed? And what are some of the measures that you will be taking to kind of turn that tide?
Well, especially California, that, you know what, these businesses are hurting so much. And you know what, I heard last September, actually 23% of small businesses in Orange County, they are not coming back. This is a really sad story that, you know, we really have to open. So, you know, it's burdensome regulations and high taxes. It's not really working. People don't trust the government, especially in California, that, you know what, the highest tax, Steve, you just said that. And you know what, tax is not going to really, you know, they are, it's sometimes I'm looking at state government, it's like my kids, that, you know, money grows on mommy and daddy's pockets. Sure. No, it doesn't work like that. We are losing those big businesses. So we really have to make sure that, you know what, lower taxes, we're going to make these businesses prosper, then they can actually collect more taxes. So you have to really think around. And federal government, same thing too. I just told you that, you know what, they had a bill last year for same as AB 5, that kind of things that we should repeal in California, never introduce that kind of bills, because a lot of people that they work for the part-time or they work for 1099 getting it, then they should do that. So you know what, we have to give them a little more freedom to work and how to run their businesses. That's what federal government and state government have to do. And especially California, it's not really helping for small businesses at all.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. And so I know we're short here on time, but I want to give you a chance to do some closing remarks and maybe talk about over the next 2 years, your term, your first term here. What are we going to do to promote a business-friendly climate that, again, grows that economy here in Orange County? Really, the importance of what our organization focuses on, and I know what you focus on. But please close out with some closing remarks, and again, what you're going to do over the next 2 years.
You know what? We have to stop a lot of things like Obamacare. You know what? All these insurances, when private sector is coming in and they compete and they give you choices, one size fits all doesn't really work. So we really have to stop that kind of things. And you know that I've been a tax buyer and tax fighter. And when I was a State Board of Equalization and I returned over $400 million back to the taxpayers. So you know what? I really want to fight for Orange County people who are working so hard. And then they can keep their own, hard-earned money. And then, of course, COVID-19, we really have to. I went through this COVID for the last 2 weeks, and 99% of the people that they survived. And I lost few weights. It's a very good way to lose your weight. But you know what? It was really interesting. You lost your sense of smell and sense of taste. But other than that I went through very light, and my husband, same thing too. So you know what? Just open up the businesses, let people decide they have to wear masks and they just have 6 feet away and they feel sick, then they don't come out and they quarantine themselves. So let's open up the businesses. Let's open up the school. In Orange County, we opened up the school since last August. And you know what? We didn't have much problem except a few here and there. So you know what? Everybody's really careful about their health, and we give them a little more freedom. Then you know what? I think we can survive. We cannot just keep closing down California. You can compare that. I was talking to Florida just elected, Congress members, or like Georgia. They say, you know what? They open up everything. Their numbers are much lower than California. So give them a little more freedom. Open up the businesses. Let business people run the business, and then that's the way government has to run.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We do need solutions to open properly, to open safely. But you're right, states are doing it differently. And some states are doing it well and getting their people back to work. And we find that more important than anything at the moment. But also to your point too, we also asked our members which issues were the most important. And as you mentioned, the Affordable Care Act was on the top of that list of issues that are impacting their business most frequently. So I appreciate the fact that you were able to mention that and that you are aware of that. And so with that, Congresswoman Michelle Steele, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your time. Good luck over the next 2 years. We want to make sure that the invite is always open for you to come back and talk to our members, and we hope to see you in person one of these days very soon. We are going to step aside for a moment to hear from some of our newly elected city council members from South Orange County. And when we get back, we'll meet with one of our newest state assembly representatives from South Orange County, former Laguna Niguel mayor and now assembly member, Lori Davies. Did you know almost 2 out of 3 American jobs are created by small business? And 9 out of 10 companies have fewer than 20 employees. Our local dry cleaners, hair salons, florists, coffee shops, and restaurants, they need your support now more than ever. As the leading business advocate in the region, the South Orange County Economic Coalition encourages you to shop local to protect our hometown businesses. For our jobs, for our neighbors, for our community. Shop local.
Hello everyone, my name is Michael Villar, and I'm a newly elected City Council member for Dana Point, District 5 here in Capistrano Beach. First, let me wish everybody a very happy new year. I hope 2021 brings you and your families good health, prosperity, and most importantly, many blessings throughout the new year. We've got a lot of challenges in 2021 and beyond, trying to recover from this pandemic. It's the #1 priority for our City Council. I know it's the #1 priority for our newly appointed mayor. So we're all going to work together at Dana Point City Council to ensure that our local businesses can get back up and running. We want to make sure that our residents get back to work. We need to do that in the safest way possible. but we also want to make sure that we do that as quickly as possible as well. So we need to find that balance point there, getting our businesses back and running in a safe way, but also do it as quickly as we can so that our residents can get back to work. It's going to be a challenge for all of us, and not just the Dana Point City Council, but for all the residents of Dana Point, to work together, to come together, to understand that we are going to need to make some sacrifices, both in the budget when it comes to our entire city and also as individuals. So we all need to work together to ensure that we can recover from this pandemic. I know that we can do it. We're resilient, and we'll make sure that we do what's best for Dana Point. So I'm looking forward to the new year, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Steve Knobloch, recently elected to the San Clemente City Council. I served on the council about 15 years ago, and since that time, there's been a major shift in the attitude of council. It's become more anti-business, and that's problematic for the business people in town. My goal as a member of the San Clemente City Council is to make the city more business-friendly and streamline the development process. During the past 15 years, when I worked as a in-house counsel for the Craig Realty Group when we were developing the San Clemente outlets, we had a city council that decided they didn't want any signs. They felt businesses didn't need signage. Signage was evil. And working with the South County Economic Council, specifically Paul Simons and others, you guys helped out, and together we won that battle and finally got the outlets completed with nice looking signs. As many of you know, in San Clemente, it can take up to 6 months to build and have processed a simple backyard swimming pool permit. That is unacceptable. Last year we had a relatively small commercial and residential project that took almost 5 years to process. My goodness, we fight wars in less time than that. That's unacceptable. My goal is to develop a culture in City Hall where the staff is an advocate for local businesses, not an adversary. And with the help of the South County Economic Council, I think we can accomplish that. So I look forward to working with you all in the future, and I'm delighted to be with you today. Thanks, and Godspeed.
Hi, my name is Howard Hart, and I represent San Juan Capistrano District 5. I'm a locally raised, fourth-generation Californian. I graduated from Dana Hills High School in UC Irvine, and then served my country in the Navy for 30 years as an intelligence officer, retiring at the rank of captain in 2017. Upon retirement, my beautiful bride Laura and I moved back home, and we've been heavily involved in the community since that time. My priorities on the City Council are, first of all, we need to ensure that our city government has the most business-friendly processes possible so that our local economy can boom as we emerge from this pandemic. Second, we need to ensure that our equestrian community remains on firm footing. I am committed to ensure that our equestrian heritage remains part of the fabric of our community rather than be relegated to the history of our community. Happy New Year, God bless America, and God bless San Juan Capistrano. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris Duncan, and I'm honored and grateful to represent San Clemente as one of your new council members. These are trying times. We're in the midst of a pandemic, our local businesses are struggling, and the national political rhetoric is divisive. But in San Clemente, I and your other council members are going to come together and set aside our differences to get the job done for you. Our San Clemente High School Triton's motto is one town, one team, and that's what you deserve from your council. Each of the 5 of us bring different skill sets, and we can accomplish little alone. But if we act as a team, we will win for San Clemente. My top priority is helping our small businesses get through these difficult economic times. In that vein, with the support of your other council members, I've already spearheaded a mini-grant program for our local businesses to cover rent and utility expenses and to retain their employees. Our business community is the backbone of our city, and I will always have their back. Similarly, COVID-19 continues to threaten us, particularly our most vulnerable residents. I will be steadfast in supporting the reasonable measures necessary to minimize the adverse public health effects in our city so that we can continue to thrive. We have a long way to go, and our most challenging days may lay ahead. But we will get through this, and we will come out stronger and more unified. Finally, no offense to our neighbor coastal cities, but in my opinion, there is no other beach town like San Clemente. I will protect our classic look, unique culture, and unmatched quality of life. But if we stay stagnant, we will fall behind. So I will promote smart development that grows our economy, but ensures San Clemente will always be our Spanish village by the sea.
Hello, my name is Doug Serbo. Thank you for this opportunity to present an introduction video to the South Orange County Economic Coalition members. First, I have to tell you that I am sincerely thankful for your support in endorsing my campaign as a first-time candidate for the District 1 City Council seat here in Lake Forest. And got to tell you, with 8,700 votes that were cast in Portola Hills and Foothill Ranch, I won with a 22-vote margin. So really incredible. And as a business person all my working life, I am very grateful for your support. And it's funny, in a brief conversation that I had with your executive chair, Steve Lamont, we were talking about and reminiscing about my time writing articles for the HBC and the BIA back in the 1990s. Anybody remember my WOW column, my words of wisdom? I guess not. Anyway, my day job as a regional sales manager for a business telephone system manufacturer is to drive revenue. And of course, my service to our community is going to continue to evaluate and debate and decide on projects, the best interest of Lake Forest to my abilities. And we're going to look at enhancing infrastructure and continuing financial stability, and of course, support public safety, and also place a high value on supporting local businesses that have suffered through this pandemic, and to continue to contribute to the quality of life that we enjoy here. Honestly, my first 6 weeks have been a whirlwind of activity, and when the time is right, I hope to be able to join you with some of your events as the premier voice of business in South Orange County. Thank you.
I'm Councilmember Hurt, and I'm thrilled to represent you on Aliso Viejo City Council. Two priorities that we have: vaccinations. Number one, we want to get vaccines to our frontline workers and to our most vulnerable population, and then roll it out to the rest of the population in Aliso Viejo. Number two, economic recovery. It is vitally important that we get the resources that our businesses need. We give them the support and the love that they need to survive and thrive into our future. Those are our two priorities, and they're monumental because we want to stop the spread. We want to eliminate COVID-19. So in order to do that, we still have to wear a mask, social distance when possible, and if you're sick, stay at home. That is what we're going to be working on toward the beginning of this year. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I'm always open to talk, and I want to work with everyone. I look forward to it. Talk to you soon.
Hi everyone, my name is Mike Frost, City Council of Dana Point, District 4. First of all, I want to say thanks to the South Orange County Economic Coalition for your support during the campaign. It was great meeting every one of you. I appreciate answering all my questions, and your support meant a lot. My initiatives, and they're going to be the same throughout my time on the council or within public work, is good public policy that supports creators, and that's through less bureaucracy, more common sense. Too often times in California, we've got public policy that hurts creators. And so that's always going to be in the back of my mind during any sort of public policy discussion. Specific to Dana Point, these next upcoming years are going to be transformational. We have, for those of you who don't know, we have some large-scale real estate projects going on in all three commercial areas, the Lantern District, the Harbor, as well as Doheny Village. And with those projects comes vibrancy, growth, excitement, but also difficult messaging. There's going to be some within the community who want to see these projects fail. And the council, staff, as well as other community groups needs to be consistent in our positive messaging that this is the correct way to go. Additionally, we need to be willing to fix issues as they arise quickly. There's no way to determine all the issues that will occur during a development or an increase in growth within a city, but we need to be able to tackle those efficiently and effectively. Again, thank you for your time. I look forward to meeting everyone, and this group is great, so thank you.
The South Orange County Economic Coalition is the leading business organization throughout the region. We've been the voice of businesses in South Orange County for more than 50 years, and we work diligently to promote a strong economic climate and provide updates on important issues discussed at the state, regional, and local levels. Our members include key community stakeholders, businesses large and small, as well as public agencies, all committed to building a strong business climate both regionally and within our local communities. We advocate for our businesses and members by taking positions on legislation and local initiatives that have a direct impact on our communities. We hold monthly membership meetings, meet and greet events with our federal, state, and local legislators, and provide an annual economic report for South Orange County. Educate, facilitate, advocate. We're the South Orange County Economic Coalition. Learn more at economiccoalition.com.
Okay, welcome back to Meet Your Newly Elected. My name is Steve Lamont, the chair of the South Orange County Economic Coalition, and I want to give a big shout out to Southern California Edison for sponsoring today's event. So we are here with Assembly Member Lori Davies from Laguna Niguel, now representing the 73rd Assembly District. And so Lori, welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
I am going to jump right into this because we have a short amount of time and we have about 1 million questions. So you are a native of South Orange County, so am I, thankfully. And so you are familiar with the business challenges that are facing South Orange County. And so for those of you who are not familiar with South Orange County and you, share a little bit about yourself.
Certainly. First of all, the 73rd Assembly District. It's South Orange County. Starts from San Diego and then, starts from San Clemente on the border of San Diego and then heads north all the way up to Mission Viejo, Rancho Santa Margarita. So it's a good sized city. And a little bit about myself. I was originally from Wisconsin, though. So originally from Wisconsin.
So a lot different.
Yeah, a lot different. But I came out here when I was 18, put myself through Long Beach State, and then ended up getting into the hospitality, food, and beverage industry. Came down to Orange County, and I started working at the Ritz-Carlton. A few years later, I opened up my own business. So I've had my event company for 20 years. I got very interested in politics and policy, and ended up running for City Council in 2012 for Laguna Niguel. Was very blessed to win, and served as mayor in 2015, ran again in 2016, and I termed out as mayor as of December 2nd, and of course ran for assembly and was fortunate to win this year. So I'm now representing the 73rd District.
Very good. And so to confirm, I guess, the term limits, you could be there for possibly 12 years altogether?
You can do you can do 2 years, six terms.
Very good. Okay, very good. So we're going to jump right into the issues. You know the issues in South Orange County well. What would you say are some of the most pressing issues facing the 73rd Assembly District, and what would be your main priorities as a legislator going forward?
Certainly, they go hand in hand, and I would say, obviously, getting our businesses back open, especially our small businesses. I don't know if people realize that 90% of our small businesses are 20 employees or under, and 90% is quite a big area of how much it covers. Our small businesses are really, it's like 35% of all employees in this state. So getting our businesses back open, not to mention our schools. I mean, we've seen the havoc that it's caused. Our kids are not getting an education, the mental issues that it's bringing, the depression that it's bringing. Not to mention, I'm trying to get our sports back up. I can tell you that the calls that I'm getting from my district, really EDD, having problems with getting EDD still. Some of them haven't received anything, which is unheard of. But getting the kids back in school and these coaches watching, the motivation of these kids that, would be using sports to get their energy out. So we've been working with them as well.
Yeah, and parents can't work too if their kids are not back in school. So it doesn't just affect the kids, it's the parents as well. And so you are an entrepreneur, you are a small business owner, so I think if anyone understands this issue, it's you. So let's talk about legislative proposals to support specifically small business. What are you planning to do? Have you done anything yet? I know you guys just started.
Well, we did.
In Sacramento.
I just put a bill out. It's AB 259, and what it is it's protections for California restaurants tax credits. Because when you realize most of these restaurants have been closed for at least 50% of last year, if not more, but they're still paying the permit. So you look at the ABC permit, alcohol permit, and they usually are spending around $1,200 to have this permit. Well, they're paying for things that they're not utilizing.
Yeah,
so
sure.
why do they need to be paying for that? So what this will do is we'll actually give them 50% credit from last year, as well as give them 50% credit coming into this year. So basically would cover 1 year of what they've had to pay. And it would finish up in 2022. And again, my background, hospitality, I understand with the restaurants, that they employ quite a few people in our district. So we're hoping, we definitely would love the support. I'm hoping I'm going to be working with the California Restaurant Association. But that's huge. And also, we're going to be probably talking about that later on, but the SB 74.
So that's my next question. So you have already started, even though you've been up there, I guess, 1 week so far. But the Keep California Working Act, SB 74, which the South Orange County Economic Coalition, I believe, has already taken a support position. This is bipartisan legislation. And so I guess my question is going to be, is this different than the governor's package? Can you maybe explain a little bit about this bill and what it does for small business?
Certainly, and especially I think the most important thing is if this passes, this becomes active right away, because there's no time for us to wait to next year for any of these bills to come in. So I think that's priority. Again, it is nonpartisan, so this is great. We'll be able to go ahead and get people working together on this. It's a Senate bill. But what this does is it'll take $2.6 billion and use it for grants. And not only small businesses, but nonprofits have really lost a lot of money. And we count on these nonprofits. And usually when business is doing well and the economy is doing good, a lot of these small businesses are the ones that contribute to the nonprofits. Well, that stopped. So working with them, they'll give them grants. The amount of the grant hasn't been determined yet, but it was something that we would be able to get money out to them to help get them through, because again, I think it was just like 60% of the businesses that have closed down won't reopen. And so it's urgent, and I think it's a great place to go. I know we were having that discussion before, but you look at the budget this year, which is a $227 billion, and they've only put aside really $500 million for small businesses. However, they're putting $1.5 billion for electric cars. Now, I think this should be something that's urgent, and I think our money should really be focused, our taxes should be focused on helping get back the economy. And, we've got many years down there, but I don't think that should be our priority. When you look at the discrepancy of how much money is going to electric cars, what is the need there, or is the need really for small businesses in the economy?
Yeah, it's getting people back to work and hopefully getting people paychecks. Is that money on top of the governor's plan as well? So this would actually complement
that would go
the
through general
plan?
funds.
Very good. Awesome. Actually, we did a survey a little bit after the election, and we did a survey to our membership, and we had about 58% believe that the political climate has a negative impact on business, with almost 80% of those respondents stating that the state of California had a negative impact on their business. And so, one, I guess, are you surprised by this statistic? I mean, this was a survey of South OC members and businesses here in South Orange County.
I think it's low.
Lower, so it could be high. Yeah, it might be higher. So you're shocked that it's a low number.
I'm shocked it's only 80%. I have a feeling it could probably be 85% or 90%. But and if I can, I mean, all you have to do again is look at policy. I mean, AB 5. I mean, talk about killing businesses. I mean, the reason behind that makes no sense. You're talking about 3 million independent contractors and telling them that they have to become employees or whoever they use, and that affects my business because I 1099, which means I'd have to make my employees, even if I use them, 20 hours for the whole year, I would have to then go ahead and pay for, all of their benefits, EDD, workman comp. The small business owner, which maybe has one or two, right? You look at your entertainment industry, your journalists. This has affected everybody. So you're watching people completely leave the state on this, and then you have COVID coming in, and there's no jobs, and then you look at what they consider essential and what's not essential, and then you look at all of your corporations that are leaving. Which one did we just lose? That was like, I forget. I think it was like a couple $1 billion that we lost, and where is that supposed to come from? So when they say they're business friendly, I'm not sure what they're thinking, but everything that they do, all the policy that passes speaks otherwise.
Sure. And I mean, you kind of talked about some bills that you were already working on. I mean, how do you improve this? What do you do? How do you change the perception of the state of California for those down here in South Orange County? I mean, that's really going to be what you focus on over the next year or two, I would assume.
You know, when I ran, I realized, obviously, for those that may not know, that there's a supermajority up there. So you've got 2/3 Democrats, and under that we have 19 assembly members.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get anything passed, and obviously they can pass whatever they'd like. So what I thought was going to be the most important thing is having my district educated so that they understand really what's coming down the pipeline, what these bills and how they will affect them.
Good.
And so if we can educate, just like we're doing right now, if we can educate them and let them know, listen, this is going to be passing, go ahead and not just contact me, but contact all the other districts. There's no reason why we can't go into other people's districts if we don't think that they know what's going to hit them. Because how many times is it after an election and all of a sudden you find out you're paying for for a garbage bag or a trash bag, or you're paying for this because people don't know. So I believe that the more we can educate the voters, the more informed they are, the better common sense decisions they can make when they decide who they're going to vote for next.
Perfect. Well, this program is the start, hopefully, of that education plan, at least a piece of it. I hope we can be a part of that. And so kind of back to our survey, but as you could probably imagine, the shutdowns have been the #1 issue that our respondents said that affecting their businesses the most. So I guess the question is going to be, how do we avoid another shutdown? I mean, can you avoid it? What are you going to do as the state lawmaker for this area to possibly help local businesses avoid these types of shutdowns?
Well, I think the legislation has to actually step up, and this is where I think they dropped the ball. If you look at other states, for instance, the state where I came from, Wisconsin, they have it in their constitution that the legislators actually vote whether or not the governor has the right to do emergency orders such as shutting down the economy. And so if you saw that, the governor there was going to do it again, and legislators stepped in and said, nope, you can't do it. So they took that power away. I think that we have to have a balance here, not just having one person, the governor, having the authority to completely shut down. And also, one size doesn't fit all.
Yeah,
and we've seen that. And that's the biggest thing is, you have to hit the spots that, are having the biggest, outbreak. But that doesn't mean, such as Orange County, if your numbers, are looking good, that you need to shut that down. So I think we just have to have more of a balance on decisions. And actually, one of the things I thought was really important is, after watching COVID, is I don't think it should just be one panel either. You have health directors making decisions, and believe it or not, some of these health directors aren't even physicians. The professors. So I think that it's important to have balance, but I think you need to have a 3-panel decision maker. I think you should have a health director. I think you should have economists. Yeah. And I think you should have someone that deals with mental health. And then the three of them can actually sit there and figure out what needs to be shut down. Because of course, a health director is going to say shut everything down medically. But economist is going to say, no, we need to look at this and go, right, mental health is going to be affected here, or this is going to shut down. I think that would make so much more sense if we had a 3-panel group that were making decisions.
Well, good. Well, thank you for that. And again, I know the legislative session just started. Any new programs, tax credits in the works? You kind of mentioned a little bit. Anything out there that our local businesses should be hearing about?
Well, I can tell you one thing that I'm working on with a few other legislators is also with the tax credit is the corporation tax. Okay. Because I understand as a business owner that we get hit with $800 in April, and that's always tough, especially if it's been a bad year, because that's when taxes are due, and then they hit you with the $800. Again, look how many people paid that corporate tax and didn't have an opportunity to be open last year. So that's something that I want to see if we can also get a tax credit on that and get us through this year. So that's something that we're also working on. So for me, small business, huge, getting the economy back up, getting our kids back in school. We're working with coaches right now, trying to actually emulate programs that they've done in 30 other states, showing that there's safe to get these kids back up and playing.
Good. Well, last question I have is, and you kind of mentioned it earlier, but you are in the minority in the state assembly. Any plans to work across the aisle? I'm assuming that is within a plan of yours.
Yes.
Any thoughts on that?
Without a doubt. I mean, you know what? Things have got to get done. And so, you know what, there are good people out there that, you know, we do have the same vision, and, you know, we want to make sure what's right for not only our district, but for the state as a whole. And so you just have to find those issues that, you know, people can, you know, go across and come together, just like SB 74.
Yeah, perfect.
So you just have to find those and focus on those. But absolutely, I mean, I'm not going up there to say no, I'm going up there to, you know, help people.
Awesome, good to hear. Well, any closing remarks for our watchers today?
You know, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to serve. I feel very blessed. We're working hard, know that. If you have questions, you can call my office. You can email me. It's lori.davies at asm.ca.gov. We've got a district office here in San Juan Capistrano. We're there to help. That's what we're there for. And we also have a capital office. So thank you so much.
Very
And thanks
good.
for giving me the time.
Of course. Thank you so much for joining us. And that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank all of our elected officials who took time out of their busy schedules to be a part of our program. Responsible and responsive leadership is needed now more than ever, and we appreciate the opportunity to get to know our newly elected officials. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Southern California Edison, for making today's show possible. And I want to thank you, our viewers, for joining us as well. For more information on our events, or if you're interested in becoming a member, please visit economiccoalition.com. Finally, don't forget to mark your calendars for March 12th for our annual South Orange County Economic Report. We'll be joined by an economist to not only review the impact COVID has had, but what kind of economic future we can look forward to in our region. Thank you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.